Good evening and welcome to I Pen Visions podcast, interviews and conversations with myself, Nanette Buchanan, and my co-host, Felice Reeves. We'd like to welcome you to our session with relationship coaches. This is going to be juicy, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. This is going to be juicy because I got questions. I know Felice has questions, and we're just going to keep on questioning them because when you say you're a relationship coach, that means a whole lot. So we're going to have a good evening. This is episode 1. There will be 4 episodes that will air during the month of April. We are doing a live recording. So join in, hit your friends up, tell them, hey, y'all better come and talk to this couple here about the juicy stuff that goes on. So with that being said, I want to introduce my co-host, Felice Reeves, so she could tell you a little bit about what she does, because that's not the only thing that we do. But here on Interviews and Conversations, we like to promote businesses. We like to promote entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, new business, old business, those that think they got it going on, and those that are wondering how they got it going on. So we like to open it up and give everybody an opportunity to be on our platform and be shared on other platforms. So Felice, tell them what you do.
Hi, besides being honored and blessed to be the co-host of the Honorable Miss Nanette Buchanan, I am a celebrator of entrepreneurs. So I love entrepreneurs in the drive and spirit that keeps them going. I too am an entrepreneur on the side. I have stepped out of entrepreneurship or not. I still got one foot over there, but I work for a nonprofit and it is feeding my soul right now. So I'm grateful for that. And I love meeting new people. And actually my title at my new position is relationship coordinator. So I'm coordinating. Feel like John Witherspoon in Friday. Coordinate. I got coordinate. Anyway, and then besides that, I'm silly. So it was very nice to meet you.
Yes, and tonight our guests, relationship coaches, Elitia and Cullen. They do this thing called When Love. I got stuck right there. I got stuck right there at the beginning of the When Love Works. That's not something you normally hear. Most people say, when I'm in love, when I loved him, when I loved her. But when you say when love works, that means that somebody found something that a lot of us didn't find. How to get it on, how to keep it going, how to make sure that the connection is right, how to understand it, how to push when you don't want to push no more. So see, all of that can't fit in this one little episode. So y'all gonna have to come back for all 4 episodes to get all of it. But I want to introduce to you this fantastic couple. They're married. So they know about relationships, the ups, downs, ins, and outs. And I just want to know all about them. So tell us something about you when love works.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes. I'm Elitia Maddox.
And I'm Cullen Maddox.
We co-founded When Love Works Dynamically. As you mentioned, we started this company, 1, out of our own challenges, and 2, when we started sharing the tools with others who got accelerated results, we said, okay, let's continue to share so we could offset the plague of unhealthy relationships in historically marginalized communities, right? And so our community, if we could win at home, because we already have systems of oppression everywhere else, if we could get this at home, then we said we have to do this work.
Right.
Awesome.
Absolutely felt like we can't afford to actually lose at home. We really don't have those margins. We have to win at home because that's the only place we're going to be able to come back home, regroup, build back up, and then go deal with these systemic things that are really real, And so this was it was a no-brainer for us. We were experiencing incivility in the workplace, in family connections, friend connections, and intimate partner relationships in the past. And we both, when we got through it, my wife, it was actually a gift to my wife to really take a deep dive into trying to, erase incivility. And my wife said, no, you got to share this with the world.
Right,
and
right.
When Love Works was born out of that.
And usually that's how a purpose comes along. When you finally hit it and you finally figure out that, hey, I keep hitting the same thing over and over and over again. And people are looking at me a little different because I keep hitting it over and over and over again. I think that's how we discover that may very well be your purpose. That may very well be your, I got it. Okay. You gave it to me, Father. I'm going to carry this and try to help others with it. But I think my question to lead off is relationships. We know that relationships are on all levels. We know that we have relationships from friendships to parenting to marriages to just being a couple to being co-workers to being friends. There's so many facets of relationships. In your work, is there a core that fits all of them?
Is there a what?
A core. Some kind of similarity that if we just start with that,
well,
some of the other things will work.
Here you go. Nobody needs help. I don't care what in all those categories that you named. And I love the fact that you named the categories. In every one of those categories, nobody needs help when things aren't challenging. Nobody needs help with that part.
Yeah.
What people need help with is when the challenges start to come, and then now people feel like it's okay to introduce incivility. So now, and then instead of them respecting your basic civil rights and treating you as a human being just because they're experiencing a challenge, now they feel like in that there are four sacred relationships. There's friendships, friendships, family members, and intimate partners. People that engage with you on that level, you have the right to expect at least civility.
So we started with the core definition that grounds all of those categories. Here's a definition of a healthy relationship.
Yes.
Plug and play into each of those four categories that you named, whether you're at work. And the reason that we use the reason that organizations, school systems hire us to come into the workplace and do it is because the definition and the tools that we have apply across. Because if you have a healthy relationship in the workplace, then everyone is navigating across those same lines when it comes to the challenges. So for us, we started with creating this healthy relationship definition. And this is what we came up with. A healthy relationship is a mutual exchange of time, energy, resources, service, support, and health.
That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, but that's right.
But it's
equal. But an equal exchange at that, and that's really good.
Wait, Felice, it can't be equal. Mutual is the key.
Mutual. I'm so sorry. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Mutual.
Only because we had to interject the distinguishing factor that you want to make sure that you're very clear on how many unilateral connections you have in your life, and we don't call that a relationship. Call that a community service. Call that a project that you're working on. Call it a ministry, call it something else. And so with that definition, it grounds you in every area. So even on the workplace, you know that the colleague that I'm always pouring into, I'm not in healthy relationship with them. That's a ministry for me. That's a project for me. You get very clear when you have that definition.
So in other words, what you're saying is to define it before you attach yourself to it. Define it first. Define it first. Because if you don't define who they are and the separation between this one versus that one, you'll make the mistake of assuming that you have a relationship with all of these people, and you really don't. And you really don't.
You're in a ministry. You're in a ministry, and you that's like going to a soup kitchen. You're wealthy, and you go into a soup kitchen, which is a wonderful thing. But if you go into a soup kitchen and expecting
service,
somebody
time
to give you the same service, resources, health, all the things on that list that you have, that's a person
right
in the soup kitchen because they're in need. They might not be there their entire life, but that's where they are now.
at that moment.
And you are attempting to have a mutual relationship with somebody that just doesn't have
Can't
what they have
give.
means to do
Can't
it.
give.
Yeah.
Can't give. Our expectations have to be on a mutual level. We have to understand the expectations, because I also find that, just like you said, that soup kitchen, you can't expect me to come every week and supply you with the soup.
Right.
Some weeks I'm there to eat soup myself, you know?
That's right.
So you can't expect me to come every week and bring the soup, and I can't get anything from you either. So you're right. You're absolutely right. It's got to be mutual. So mutual relationships. Mutual. So Felice, you have to mutually understand that you are my partner in crime. You have to understand that. But even if we take it on a serious note, okay, even if we take that, I think that's where I grew into the understanding of, and you can correct me because you're the coaches, friends and associates.
Yes. Yes.
Knowing where you stand with those you call friends and those you call associates.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because every associate is not always your friend.
No, for sure.
Absolutely.
And there's an economy to this. There's a finite amount of, we're infinite in our expression of love. But we're not infinite with our level of time and energy. Time takes what it takes, energy takes what it takes. And so it makes sense. It's on you. You're the only one that's going to be able to actually run that economy. I only have X amount of energy. And that's where the whole priority thing comes in. Pour back into people that pour into you first. You're going to tell me you're not going to take care of your family, but ministries are great. It's great to go help in the soup kitchen line. But your priority has to be mutual with the people that pour back into you.
Priorities. So we're going to close this episode with priorities and knowing what those priorities are. I want to thank my guests, and I want to thank those that are tuned in. And I also want to thank those that are sitting, waiting with hot questions. So when we think about priorities, do we have any questions from the chat room or anyone with a question that wants to say something about what we just went over before we close this episode and leave you on the hook for episode 2? With that, I want to say tune in every Friday in the month of April with When Love Works. We just learned about priorities. Those of you that don't have priorities in your relationships, guess what? You don't have a relationship.